How's everyone doing? Welcome to my channel. My name is Wizzy Pacheco. So I just saw Cole Robinson's video, his the latest one that he's talking about the sugar diet reverse type 2 diabetes. And I actually thought about some shit. You know what's funny that I remember when this was a few years ago, probably about damn, time goes by so fast. Probably about like whenever I first started the snake diet where I was doing like longer fasting periods. I was doing like 48s and 72s. I remember that one time I did like a 6 or 7 day fast. So back when I was doing those longer fasting periods, I used to go play basketball at this park where I trained with like all my friends. And there were these two people that were like because we would play 3 on 3. That's like the most common game that they play in that part where I used to go train. It's like this little it's actually this because the town where I was actually born in Colombia, right, in this city named Cali. And but then I I was raised in Philadelphia, and then I also lived um a couple of years in Florida. So it's like weird, right? It's like I was born in Colombia, but then I grew up in Philly, and then I lived in Florida as well. So whatever. But anyway, so so where the city where I was born is Cali, right? And that's I've lived a lot of years in that city because I got deported or whatever. So then this is actually the only school in South America that teaches or that focuses on sports, and that it's called the School of Sport. That's actually what that would be the translation. It's called La Escuela del Deporte. That would translate the School of Sports. And then it's like a fucking huge thing where like they have like swimming pools. They have what do you call it, like the baseball I don't know what it's called, the baseball field. It's a really big. It's like a huge university or whatever that just focuses on teaching people about sports. And this is the only one in South America, and it's located in the city where I was actually born, which is the city where I've spent like the last, I don't know, like 15 years, because whenever I got deported from the states. So anyway, I would go. That's like my train. That's like my chill spot. That's like if I'm in my home. Well, I don't even know, because I kind of consider Philadelphia my hometown, because I don't even remember like shit whenever I was 6. I really don't. I remember like I remember me like going to school like in first grade and all that, and then middle school, and then. But then from 6 years and below, I have like just very few like really blurry memories. But anyway. So the thing is that it's funny because you know how Cole's promoting the sugar diet, and then this guy, what's his name, Walter Kepner. And it's funny because that guy's actually from, I thought he was from North Philly, but he's actually from this county that's like it's in Pennsylvania, but it's I looked it up in a map. It's not. I thought it was Juniata. Like there's this neighborhood in Philly that's named Juniata, but there's actually another county that's in Pennsylvania. That's like it's not in Philly, but I thought it was, but it's really not. But anyway, so what I was gonna say is that you know how Cole's talking about the sugar thing and the sugar diet and all that, and it's funny because whenever what do you call it, like back like 2 or 3 years ago, whenever I was doing longer periods of fasting, and then I would go with my friends to go play basketball, and these two individuals, the my it because we would play 3 on 3, basketball, and then this was like my team. Like I have so many pictures of my boys like playing basketball at the at the place where I train in the city where I was actually born. So then um, so then, yeah, like I said, like 2 or 3 years, it was probably like 3 or 4 years ago. Man, time's crazy how fast it goes. Time goes by. But whenever I was doing those longer fasting periods, I would tell them, like I would, the shit that I was doing. I would, talk to just everyone about how beneficial fasting is. And then it's crazy because one of the guys that was on that team, right? Because it's three people. It's we used to play 3 on 3. So then of course it was me and two other guys. So one of the guys that was in my team, that that the team that we had that we would play against other people, he would always tell me this, like he said that to me so many times, because I would tell him about fasting. I'd be like, bro, fasting's so fucking good, like you could do 48 72s. And then I would also tell him about the electrolytes and all that stuff. And then he would always be like, oh, whatever. But then he would always tell me this one story, and he said it to me like so many times. And actually, I don't know if mentioned. Well, okay, so the title of the video of this video is "Truth is Relative," because that's what actually the way Miguel Ruiz explains it is that it's like an onion. You know, when you get an onion, you have to peel it and peel it until you get to the actual onion, like the truth. That's He says that that's kind of how truth is. Like truth is relative. It's like related to something else. Like it's and you have to keep peeling it and peeling it until you get to the actual truth. Right? That he uses that example in one of his books. So then what I was gonna say is that back then when I was doing these longer fasting periods, like my friend, one of my teammates, would always tell me this story about how this one time there was this one lady, and I don't remember exactly how, like, he what happened, but the thing was that the lady, damn, it's fucking pouring outside. 'Cause I live in Bogota, and weather over here is fucking crazy. It's always like either raining or it's just fucking weird. And right now it's pouring crazy outside. Like I don't know if you could hear like all the rain just pouring everywhere. Well, anyway, so so yeah, so this guy that was on my team, he would always tell me, like, I would talk to him about fasting, and then he'll be like, "Yo, man, but you know what?" And he would always mention this to me. He would talk about how, damn, it's fucking raining hard, really hard. Like you probably hear it on the microphone. I'm pretty sure you can. But anyhow, so he would always tell me like, "Hey, bro." Then he would tell me the story about how one time there was this lady that she fucking passed out, and she was like, laying on the ground, and that he fucking, and then he would always tell me this, how he basically, I guess you could say, he saved her life, or she, because the lady was just fucking, like, she was passed out on the ground, and then he immediately went to, to aid her, to help her, and then he immediately asked some other, whatever people were around, he asked them to give him sugar. And then he would tell me, he was like, "Yo, I don't even know what he calls me, whatever he calls me," because he'll be like, "Hey, bro, um, I fed the, oh, I think Camilo, cause that's actually my real name. I think he calls me by my birth name. He's like, 'Hey, Camilo, I fed her, I don't know, some sugar. I threw some sugar on her, like, he fucking went and he threw sugar on her mouth, or in her mouth, right? And that's how he awakened her." And then he would always tell me that fucking story. He'd be like, "Hey, man, how the fuck is it possible that you're, talking about, you're always talking about preaching fasting and shit, and and that, how do you, how is it, how the fuck did, and then he'll tell me the story. He'll be like, "Look, there's this lady, she fucking passed out, she was on the ground, and I immediately went to go rescue her, and then I just told the people to grab, to give me sugar, and I fucking grabbed the sugar, I threw it in her mouth, and she fucking, and I awakened her, or I fucking revived her, cause and he would always tell me that same fucking story, and I just be like, damn. And now that Cole's preaching the sugar thing, and I'm actually on the sugar thing. Like this morning, I fucking threw a whole bunch of bananas. Actually, last night I'm counting calories, and I'm just fucking eating sugar just from bananas like today. And then last night I just, oh man, I'm like I said on my last video, man, I'm starting to focus on shit, man, cuz I don't know, it's just like I don't even know how to say it. I want to, like, it's like I don't know how to say it. I've done so much shit that I'm ready to fucking just, like, oh man. But anyway, so yeah, that's what I want to. Damn, 10 minutes. I didn't think it'd be this long. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna upload this video, man. I feel pretty good. Sometimes I think of like all this like just fucking nonsense, man. It's like, like the self forgiveness, man. Like that's the maximum forgiveness is to forgive ourselves fucking for suffering unnecessarily, you know. So that's, yeah. So yeah, so let me go ahead and end this video. I just wanted to say that real quick. And yeah, it's fucking crazy, man, how we can actually just with fucking sugar, man, how the benefits of sugar. And just like, so it's interesting how, like, even there's this video of Miguel Ruiz that I fucking, like, all the time I'm always playing that video just because I just listening to it just makes me be like return to my like authentic self. And like I just love watching and listening to it. And then he talks about how he's not. And then he would be like, this is a video of Miguel Ruiz. And then he says like, it's called Change Your Reality. I'm always sharing it on my page on Facebook. And then he would be like, the Miguel Ruiz that whenever I was 17. And actually, that's like I love that number. I was actually born the 17th of February, but that's what he says. He's like, the Miguel Ruiz, whenever he was 17, is not the same one that whenever he had his first child. And then he would be like, that Miguel Ruiz that, whenever he had his first child is not the one, it's not the same one of the, it's not like, that Miguel Ruiz is not the same one as the one of whenever he was a medical doctor. And then the medical doctor Miguel Ruiz is not the same one that that the it's not I'm sorry, it's not the same one as the shaman Miguel Ruiz. And then of course the shaman is not the same Miguel Ruiz that he is now. It's like shit's always changing. Like I said earlier, like about the onion, like, truth is relative. Like whatever is true today might not be true tomorrow, and then the next day it might be true again. Like shit is always changing. That's because the world is alive. We're all just like a huge fucking, like, we're all part of the same thing. And then he explains it on his books. It's kind of like the cells or like the organs. And you could say that us human beings, like, we're just a fucking organ of a huge body. So all these type of things. So it's just, I don't know, it's fucking weird. But at the same time, it's like, I don't, a lot of times I don't know how to like describe what I mean, I can, but it's like, it's just fucking weird. But anyhow, yeah, that's what I wanted to say. And what was the other thing I was gonna talk about? No, that, man, that's crazy how the sugar thing. So yeah, so I've what also what I've noticed that I've been doing a lot is I've been walking. Cause I like to do cycling too. But then I've recently just been like walking like that. I find that that's really helpful, just going on like long walks. Like, and even sometimes I'll watch like videos that talk about stoic wisdom. And then like what's his name? I'm trying to remember his name. Ryan Holiday, I think that's his name. He has some interesting information on stoic wisdom. And then he'll talk about like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius and all those fucking stoic people. And those, those that literature also has a lot of interesting things. And then he'll talk about that. I remember that in one of those videos, he'll talk about embracing change and going in long walks, and how people are always going to be obnoxious, and how to, things like that. Like, and that's really how it is, man. It's crazy because we're just a fucking domesticated animal. And like, a lot of people, or even like, we a lot of times we don't know better. And that's why we go through shit. And sometimes we even harm ourselves trying to, because we have no fucking idea. But then that's also, you know whenever you, I don't know, overeat or do whatever, get drunk or whatever the fuck, that shit can actually help you, overcome whatever the fuck you thought it was, or you know what I'm saying. It's like everything happens for a reason, and just the fact that we go through shit just makes us tougher, you know. All right, so I'm just I'm gonna end the video, man. I just wanted to share that, and I hope everyone has a good day.